Hey, what's going on? James Smiley here, Ultimate Influencers CEO and CEO of Tribal Talk, seller of over $210 million of products before the age of 35. Anyway, so one of the questions that I got, last Friday we had a big webinar through our meetup.com/entrepreneur seminar. Meetup.com/entrepreneur seminar. We've got a nice group there that's been going on for a while. And we had a really cool, fun webinar the other day, Friday. And one of the questions that came in I thought was really, really cool. And a question that I often ask all the time is, how do I accelerate sales, right? We've done local events, live events and stuff about sales acceleration. One of the things I feel very privileged to be able to say about myself and my accomplishments, and I say this humbly, but just to be clear, I have been able to generate twice in my life new lines of business, completely new lines of business from $0 to $20 million twice in my lifetime before I was 35. That's, starting out with no products, no platform, and figuring out, okay, what do we use, what do we put together, what do we buy, what do we sell? And, a number of years later, we were over $20 million. And so really, growth and acceleration of business and new lines of business and revenue, that's really where I've been able to excel. Especially with big companies, and we just started doing a lot of coaching, as you guys know, with entrepreneurs in the last couple of years, really last year and a half or so, which is really cool. I just I've been so excited and passionate to work with entrepreneurs. It's something that I've never really done before, working with the smaller companies, but the smaller solopreneurs, people working by themselves. But it's really, really cool and really fun. It's funny how the terminologies are a lot different. They use words like affiliates and JVs, whereas in bigger companies we would say master dealers, we would say partners, those kind of things. You would never call somebody a JV or an affiliate, but anyway, it's really cool. It's really, really, really fun working with passionate entrepreneurs, which is really my heart and who I am as a person anyway, which is what's drawn me here. But okay, so let me answer the question. How do you go about accelerating sales? And no matter what you do, is there some tip or something that I can give you? And I'm not going to give you the standard, the real standard stuff. If you're dealing with a big company, is upsell, downsell, cross-sell, referrals, figure out a better referral process, figure out how do you, just simple things like increasing prices. There's a number of ways you can always increase sales 10, 15%. Doesn't matter what business you're in, what you're a part of, what you're doing. If you're a personal salesperson managing $50,000 of business or $5 million of business or $50 million of business or whatever, $100 million of business, it doesn't matter. There's always an easy way to increase sales a little bit. But how do you go about, maybe a more practical way for somebody who's in a smaller business or whatnot? And one of the things that, I would say, under 100 million or even, under 10 million or even a startup, right? Somebody who's a startup. One of the things that I've learned, and I learned this a lot through Jay Abraham, Chet Holmes, and a lot of these guys, is you really have to understand the psychology of selling. I've been in science of consultative selling and tons of these are like millions and millions of dollars type of sales programs. They're not like hey, go to this $3,000 seminar. These are millions of dollars seminars that are put on by huge companies, some of the biggest companies in the world. They'll contract out companies, multi-million-dollar projects to train 20,000 sales reps across the country. And just, it's been really cool kind of being a part of a lot of that and kind of seeing, how all that goes about. But one of the things I feel like if I were to just share with you guys, and that could help you no matter what you do, okay, in selling, is don't think that people buy based on ambitions, okay? Don't think that people are going to buy from you based on, I see so much out there right now around self-help, self-development. Guys, that's a bunch of BS, okay? I'm telling you, I've seen all the market data on this from a macro and a micro level. People are not actually buying self-help stuff if it's marketed as self-help, okay? If they're buying self-help, it's not actually being marketed as self-help, okay? Because the reality is 90% of the population does not want help. They don't want help. They actually don't want help. They actually want somebody to tell them that it's okay, that their problem is not a problem. Okay? That's where I'm getting at. And that's where a lot of people get confused. They think, oh, well, I've got this weight loss, or I've got this info product, or I've got this webinar. I can teach people, all about whatever. I can teach people. We were just talking to a client. They were doing, what was he doing? Oh, he was real estate and flipping homes and all this stuff. It's like, people don't want self-help, okay? Now, the smart people, the gurus, the successfuls, the people who are top of their class, we want self-help. Like, I led the country in sales, 2 different giant companies, the whole country in sales. I'm all about self-help. I'm self-help every day. I'll spend money on that all the time. But most people are not like that, okay? And I'm just telling you, if you're one of those people, or if you want to be one of those people, if you're not there, it's because you've never put money into self-help. You might have put money into academia. How did that do for you? You know what I mean? I mean, most people, we racked up, tens of thousands of dollars of debt and got a job for $40,000 to $80,000 a year. That is statistically the average, right? And I mean, if you went out and tried to, I know, guys who do all that. I know, like good friends went to Emory and went to Wharton, went to wherever, and, USC and UCLA and, Stanford. And then they think, oh man, I'm so smart. I'm going to go out and start my own business, and I'm going to go back and crack open my marketing book, my start a business book, my sales book, and all this stuff. Number one, you're learning marketing and sales and all this stuff from guys who don't know how to sell. Guys who were doing marketing techniques that may be true for some industries and some big companies, but they're fairly irrelevant today in an entrepreneurial, fast-paced, cutthroat, internet-connected environment. Hate to say that, but that's true. So, how do you go about selling, right? Like so some of you right now are like, oh man, this guy's crazy. Like, self-improvement is huge industry. It is a huge industry. But let me tell you something. The people who are being successful, go look at their sales letter, go look at their headline, go look at their emails. They're not selling self-help. They're selling desires. Okay, if you stayed around to this part of the video, you just learned, like, you just got a golden nugget rolled your way. Okay, they're selling to people's desires, and they're selling to people's fears. Okay, that's it. Turn the video off if you just the podcast off, whatever. Okay, if you just heard that, man, I really hope you took notes on that. Took a mental note. They're buying based on fears and based on desires. Okay, their desires. So it doesn't matter. I'm not saying you can't sell self-help and make a ton of money. I'm not saying that. The fact is you can. But you don't want to go out there and say, hey, we're a self-help. We're going to help you lose weight. We're going to help you be a speaker. We're going to help you learn to make money with franchises. We're going to help you. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that. Okay? The average person, they don't want help. They want people to scratch their itch and scratch their back and whatever. But what will motivate them? See, you have to focus on how to get people to take action. That's what sales is all about. See, I'm actually not that good of a salesperson. I led the country in sales for 2 different huge organizations. But I'm not the best hardcore seller. But I know how to motivate people. I know how to motivate people. I know how to motivate people. I know how to get motion. I know how to get people to move. I know how to get people excited and passionate. So I can sell. So how do you do that? How do you get people to move? Well, let me ask you this. Do you move more based on your fears? Do you take action more based on the things that you don't want to happen? Do you work harder, get a job, go do something based on protecting your family, your friends, yourself, your image, your whatever? Yeah. If you really think about that, that's why, if somebody says something that threatens your job or that threatens you anything around your finances or whatever, that's why you get all ticked off. Because you fear, oh my God, what's going to happen if I don't have money? What's going to happen if I can't support my family? What are people going to think? What's my family going to think? What's my mom going to think? What's my dad going to think? What's my coworkers? What are my peers going to think? It's fear, right? And so you might go, well, that's very unethical. I'm turning the camera off. Turn it off. It's unethical. Let me tell you something. Okay, you could be the most beautiful, Bible thumping or Muslim or religious person or anything, okay? Even in the Bible, they talked about hell. They talk about hell all the time. And the reason is because people are motivated by fear, okay? People are motivated by, holy smokes, I don't want to go to hell, okay? And that's just kind of like an old, I am a Christian, so I'm not making fun at all, but I'm just telling you, that's like one of the oldest tricks in the book. I used to work at a church, worked at multiple churches when I was younger, a lot younger, but anyway, it was really cool and fun. But what I will tell you is like one of the oldest tricks in the book that I don't think is necessarily right. But one of the oldest tricks in the book is like if you need to increase revenues or increase butts and seats, you start talking about the end times. You start talking about the world's going to end. You start talking about that kind of stuff. People show up for a few weeks. Okay, your attendance goes up by 25% for a little while. Okay. But anyway, the only reason that happens, the same thing that happens in business, same thing that happens if you're writing a book, same thing that happens if you're doing a webinar, same thing that happens if you're whatever. If you're selling web services, website services, .com, this, that, whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, you could be selling barcode scanners, whatever you're selling, widgets, whatever. You want to make sure that you're talking to people's fears, and you want to make sure that you're hitting on their key desires, their core desires. Okay. I like Russell Brunson, somebody that I admire and follow, young guy, but very successful, and I think he's got a lot of things right in terms of the psychology of reaching customers on the internet. Is he talks a lot about core desires, and I think he got a lot of it from like Chet Holmes and a lot of these guys, and Jay Abraham and these guys who've been talking about it for decades. But still, I think he really synthesizes and puts a lot of it together very well. Anyway. I would really think about that, and don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Like a lot of entrepreneurs or people, they think, well, everybody's like me. They're ambitious. They want to get out and do. They're not. The reason more people are overweight, the reason people they can't increase their own income to 10%. The reason they're not ambitious. They're not. Okay, what's gonna trigger action? What's gonna trigger action? And motion and getting them moving is emotion. Okay, the way to trigger their emotion, to get them to move, to get motion, is going to be talking to their core desires, and especially hitting on their fears. And if I had to pick one or the other, I would definitely pick their fears. Now, I don't want to belabor this conversation, but let me just tell you that when it comes to fears, I would highly encourage you not to talk about BS made up fears that, don't be unethical about that, because I can tell you people are smarter than that nowadays. It's not 1994 or 2004 or 2008 or 2010 where people never been tricked by that. Like 99% of the population has been tricked by that before. And if you think you're the first one, oh my God, I got something, I'm going to go out there and trick them. You ain't tricking nobody. Trust me, people been there, done that, they got the t-shirt. All right, guys, thanks for being here. Check out ultimateinfluencers.com. If you need any other questions, we got a bunch of free, cool training content on there for you that's going to help you take your business to the next level. Peace. Talk to you guys later.